much that he once, during a camping trip in Alaska, went fishing in a river, and he competed with a grizzly bear that was fishing as well, less than 50 feet away. So Willem is not a guy to mess with. So if he ever asks you to go out for sushi, you better run for your life on that one, okay? So with that, Lev Mason of AYTM.
Hello. Yeah. Here was that bear. We were on this side of the creek, and it wasn't a very deep creek. One thing I learned on that trip is that when you find yourself face to face with a grizzly bear, the last thing you want to do is to run away, because that will indicate you as a prey, and it will not end well. Just instead, you have to stand tall and pretend that you're another grizzly bear and continue fishing. That was an amazing whitewater rafting trip in the heart of Alaska, and it happened in 2014. It was right midway of our journey. We will be celebrating our 10th anniversary this year, and we launched AYTM in 2009. In 2014, a couple of weeks before that trip to Alaska, I had another scary encounter. I took the stage at the first IIX in Atlanta and faced several hundreds of market researchers and showed AYTM research automation, personality radar. And the next year we automated MaxDiff, then Van Conen, the price optimization system. In 2017 we did automate trace-based conjoint. Last year we showed how we can change the dynamics of research collaboration. And in a few minutes I want to show you something new that we've been working. Every step of the way, we were thinking that our platform is extremely easy. It's easy for respondents, it's easy for researchers, but it was so easy for us that we ended up adding it to our tagline. But the perception in the industry, the perception of our clients had been changing. It changed from AYTM is for fast, inexpensive surveys to something like, oh, AYTM is that company that automated MaxDiff and conjoint. It's complex stuff or difficult surveys. And I feel that we live in the time, very interesting time in market research, where one way of thinking of how different technology companies evolve is by those two different forces. One force is stimulating us to make more and more advanced tools, more complex ones. Another force is governing the rule of the ease and simplicity, and I believe that it's equally important and directly opposite force. Let's talk a little bit about those paradigms. So first one, when you're creating a powerful tool, ultimately you want to add as many features as possible. And as developers, it's very tempting because there's no cost associated for us in adding additional bells and whistles. And for you researchers, it's empowering you to make more stuff faster and more efficiently. However, there are some shortcomings of this strategy. First of all, tools like that require more time to run projects. They have a high demand on your knowledge and skill level, and there are fewer safety nets. So if something goes wrong, it's in the hands of the researcher. On the other side of the equation, the companies that are trying to make everything as simple, as easy as possible, we're creating sort of black boxes. As developers, we really like black boxes because they allow us to really narrow down the specifications. If we control what goes into those applications, we can understand what goes out, and we can control and make sure that the quality is great. However, it's unclear for you what's going on within that box. If your Schrödinger cat is dead or alive, if the research is doing well or not. Another thing that we hear quite often from our clients is that not often their research project fits one of those pre-created boxes. So today I want to offer you a new concept that combines those two paradigms and hopefully involve you in participating and creating new solutions in the research automation. The Expert Solutions is the name that we chose for this new idea, and I would like to walk you through it. It starts with the input page. On this page, we feature the researcher who put their experience and mind in building this solution. And we ask researchers to interact with this page by sharing what their objective is, what are they testing. I'm showing it on an example of concept test. So you type in your category, you select if you want only decision makers, you drag and drop your images, the system takes them, creates different concepts, then you go ahead and name every concept. You can provide a description if you want. You can copy and paste from a Word doc. Adjust the list of attributes that each concept will be tested on. Decide on some add-ons. And when this input is complete, you can preview the survey right away. You will see how the survey will be presented to survey takers on different devices. How they will be going from one question to another, rating them on different scales, giving their openness, etc. You can jump between one question to a different section of the survey. Then your choices are that you can go inside the structure, the underlying survey, and see how it's done. You can augment it with your absolutely custom questions. You can add them before or after. And the rest of the survey is programmed with monadic logic. In this case, could be sequential monadic, could be something else. All the questions, all the images are cloned in the proper places, and the survey is in front of you. It is protected in a way that you cannot mess up the logic needed for us to produce properly field and analyze it. You can break those locks and just take advantage of the programming, but if you do that, you are losing the report that I will show you in a minute. But one thing that we thought would be useful is we allow you to soft edit our protected questions. So you can modify the verbiage to better fit your needs. Then you just go through launch, you launch the survey, and when data is in, you get your report. Report shows you the objective, it shows you the methodology, and it opens to show you the key findings. We measure at 95% confidence level. You can adjust it, and the entire report will be recalculated. And in this example, we show that Sydney, Australia was a vacation package that most respondents preferred to even trips to Paris and Japan. You can see the purchase intent, you can see how different attributes that were tested compared to each other on this topography view. You can see perceptual mapping slide to see how entities competed to each other and how they end up being on this map. As well as additional questions and pros and cons, things that people liked and they disliked about every concept that was tested. Now, it wouldn't be fun if that would be the end of the story. We believe that the data should be exportable in different formats. The report can be easily exported in PowerPoint, and it will be beautiful and self-explanatory out of the box. Obviously, you can augment and change anything you want on that PowerPoint. But right behind this report on our platform sits the original survey that you can access. You can look through every question in the survey. You can filter, you can cross Reports tab, you can download the raw data, SPSS, and do any sort of modeling that you normally do with your studies. Another example that I wanted to show you features claims tests, which we built based on MaxDiff plus Turf. It starts in a similar fashion. In the input page, you put in your categories, your names, drag and drop the illustration of what it is you are testing, and then you can copy and paste up to 80 claims. We prefer to stay within 40, but 80 is also possible. You decide if you want to include turf analysis or not. Again, you can and should always preview the survey. We, by default, do it in the reorder fashion, but if your claims are best represented by images, you can choose this grid option. One important thing is that you can change targeting. You can totally customize the targeting using the power of our panel and our targeting page, including the over 2,000 psychographic data profiling. So you can get to specific audience and still use all the automation built in that expert solution. Again, when data comes in, the system analyzes. It quotes you the most powerful claims that we saw in the study. It shows you the results of the MaxDiff experiment, as well as open ends and other questions that were asked in the survey. If something is interesting to you, there are rabbit holes built into those expert solutions that you can click and find yourself in the raw data and look deeper into those questions that we used to build the reports. And on top of that, the turf analysis, of course, will help you to identify the most powerful combinations of the claims. Finally, choice-based conjoint is also part of AYTM platform. It's part of why AYTM is loved by many clients, and we decided that it wouldn't be fun if we didn't include it in this presentation and a few first expert solutions. Again, you put in your alternatives and options. You decide which ones should be on top, which ones should be on the bottom. You can preview the choice-based experiment right away and go through the slides the way respondents would. On the stats page, we will write out the most successful combination of those options. We'll give you access to our interactive market simulator, where you can test your assumptions and see the best, the worst, and anything in between. We'll also give you access to our segmentation layer that you can use to see that some respondents valued the destinations, some other respondents were more focused on whether or not food and drinks were included in that package. And that completes this journey from easy to easy, right? From the very easy, very simplified input page to the report that is answering the top questions that we set in the objective for the study. You can make a stop between those two points and make the survey completely customized to the extent that you want it to be customized. And you can make another stop and go under the report into the raw data and do whatever you do normally with analysis of the raw data. And the few examples that I showed you are just the first few of many concepts, expert solutions that we're working on. And we envision that there will be a library of them for most common use cases. But somewhere among them, there is your custom test. I think the most important point that I want to share with you is that the new way of thinking about this research automation allows us to build those things in a matter of weeks. And the best way for us to build them is with your guidance in collaboration with researchers. This vision includes corporate researchers building several of their own claims tests, their own conjoint tests, proprietary, available on our platform only for their research organizations and nobody else. We can do it in a couple of weeks. We can adjust and improve it perpetually in a matter of days. And researchers from those organizations will be able to take advantage of that research automation in a matter of minutes and hours. And that's the essence of it, right? If you're faced with something that sounds scary, looks scary, the best course of action is to embrace it, to make friends with it, and to co-create, to create something that hasn't existed before. The best way to participate in this is to stop by at our booth, take a look, play with it, and join our beta. We're open to your collaboration with you, and we would like to create new expert solutions and new templates that the world have never seen. Thank you.
Any quick questions for Lev from in the room? Yes?
Does your platform have an API that allows us to extract data from that system into something that we have homegrown?
Does our platform has an API to connect with your proprietary data repository? It does not. We use many APIs to connect with panel providers, but we're open to discussion to connect to external data repositories and satisfy your needs.
Thank you, Lev.
Thank you.
Now, for those of you in the room, it's time to play Stand By for Methodify. So what I'm going to ask everyone